After much thinking, I have made a decision. I will become a Rallybot. With celestial weapons, soldier armor and berserker trinkets, I don't really have a safety net of stats. I still have a lot of active defenses as I am a Mesmer, but I don't use much stealth, which leaves me extremely vulnerable compared to what I could build. Fortunately, every Mesmer weapon set has some active defenses. Well, because of specifics of blocks on scepter and sword combination, this is the weakest active defense set for Mesmer. But having switched to berserker trinkets from soldier trinkets gave me much more power. I am able to defeat classes I couldn't kill earlier, for example thieves or regenerating engineers and warriors. But my world vs. world is mostly about small-scale fights, not duels. What surprised me the most is that it still worked, even in small-scale fights. Here you have a nice fight, 3 of us versus 4 of them. As you will see in a moment, they will deal me enormous damage, but even if I was in soldier armor it wouldn't help me much. I would have to blink anyway. Using high firepower and runes of perplexity, I am able to put high pressure on them, forcing them to move and not attack us. We always call target, and with my 5 seconds of pure stun, if enemies don't use stun breakers, the berserker helps a lot. Flip side, if I am focused, I will go down very fast. On the other hand, if I was in soldier armor and focused, I would also go down fast because Mesmer's defenses are mostly active defenses. In most battles and in most regular situations, I have noticed my allies prefer me to use Signet of Domination than for me to use Decoy. Decoy will allow me to escape the fight if it goes bad, but on the other hand, Signet of Domination often allowed us to win the fight we never thought we could win. This is not this case, by the way. Enemy had stability, so I couldn't interrupt or stun, but they made a fatal mistake. 2 of them ran after me, leaving a downed ally with Eshiat. Now I know enemy was trying to stealth stomp me, so I countered and teleported, and Eshiat managed to stomp his elementalist before Thief killed me. Now this will sound really stupid, but I have forgotten to press my T key, so I did not change target to the selected target, and my several next actions went void. It is one of the first clips when I have adapted to the new build I was using at that point, so I make stupid mistakes at this moment. Fortunately, I had my friends to compensate here, and we were able to win this fight. We have turned 3 vs 4 into 3 vs 2 right now, and the fight is won already. Teamplay and pressure were far more important than the armor set I was using. The new armor set forces me to think more about positions, cooldowns. I mean, I can't charge guns blazing like I used to. And if I have to? If I have to, it's a bit worse situation, but not always. You can choose your position or your battlefield or something. This is a 4 vs 7 fight where we start with T downed. We managed to get her up, and a moment later I've managed to put a lot of perplexity on others and to get 20 mites. Even if I am not attacking, the confusion is. They use banner to resurrect the downed allies. They create the killing ground area with AoEs and stuns. We escape it, mass invisibility to regroup, and we are able to strike back. The more soldiery are you, the more useful for you it is to move in tight formations and use combo fields. But small scale, we don't have a lot of combo fields at our disposal, especially with this class composition. And we benefit the most from spreading, especially in the wake of enemy AoEs. When the fight stopped being what they are used to and became hunt your preferred enemy instead, they have started to panic, and this is why we won this one. We are not focusing fire this time, making it impossible for them to focus fire us, and if someone is downed, T simply executes them, stomps them from stealth. Fun fact, if we all were Berserker, we would probably lose this fight. Someone had to be able to resurrect under fire, but it isn't a bad idea to mix 1 or 2 party members who will be the artillery and DPS. That is assuming they will not be in front, but they will be more in the back. Now let's see a more typical fight. I mean, Godsword camp. The usual situation we encounter is we attack the Godsword camp, there is someone there, we fight him, more enemies come, and eventually we get overrun and die. This is kind of a tradition at this point. Anyway, we start from focusing a ranger, because ranger is a very nice class to focus. You can very easily see if this ranger will be very difficult to kill, in which case you swap target, or he might die very quickly, in which case you got one enemy less. When low of hit points he got caught by the warden, and afterwards using the distortion shatter I have stomped him. Judging from the amount of tags, there were 3 other enemies over there already. Now, interesting thing about use of a scepter and perplexity runes in World vs. World. Most enemies assume I am a condition build. Condition Mesmers are quite tanky and they have a lot of defenses, so I am not the first person to be focused. This gives me some breathing room. Enemy engineer here made a very good move. I used mass invisibility, but the explosion pushed me back, and if a guard didn't die, Eshiat would have some problems. We are focusing a Mesmer next because, well, everyone hates Mesmers, and especially Mesmers hates other Mesmers. But this one can take some beating, and I have lost him. Meanwhile, I have to fight, well, mostly escape a very, very curious engineer. At the same time, we cause some havoc in the camp, all the cooldowns are being regenerated, and really nothing gets done because we cannot decide on a target. By this I mean, nobody selects any target. The friendly ranger comes back, but I have to evacuate to put some distance using blink, and I cannot really prefer at this point because I was focused for a moment. Ash called the target on an engineer who stretched forward to catch me, and Ash and Meow focused on him and downed him while I was trying to avoid being downed myself. The 4th block route from Scepter 2 proved to be very dangerous, and I get downed. Desperate Decoy saved me for a moment, but I was caught by Phantasmal Berserker. Saved partially by T and her Shadow Refuge, and when she got knocked back, by Eshiat, who put me up. In the meantime, my food ran out, which is a bonus to dodge food, which is kind of crucial when I don't have many more defenses. I go after a Mesmer to either hurt him and force him to escape, or to down him even, but unfortunately I had a different clone targeted than I wanted to teleport to using swap, and I didn't manage to immobilize the proper target. I shouldn't have done that in the situation because Ash is downed, so I had to teleport back with mass invisibility hoping to get him. A very close situation in which Stomped managed to save Eshiat. Now I get a very powerful strike, immobilize, chill, everything, which gets me downed very quickly. At this point they managed to regroup and strike us. Well-placed Shadow Refuge got me some seconds of life more, and she started to resurrect me. She didn't manage to finish this action because she got pulled by an enemy Mesmer, but Shadow Refuge puts us in stealth for a very long time, and the time was enough for her to come and resurrect me fully, while all of them focused on Ash. To make the situation even worse, Doliax spawned, and with Doliax 1 more guard and 1 more scout, and this was the end of the game. What is interesting, even without dodge food, I was able to survive quite a lot, mostly thanks to good play of my party mates, and because of those active defenses I have left. I am definitely going to play with this armor set for a while. It works very well in small-scale fights, and even if I am even less defensive, I give some prefer and some damage I didn't give earlier. This is worth it if we want to assassinate someone. It also makes me play more actively and rely less on my stats, which is good for learning.